Just looking at New Year's resolutions, matters of finances, and how to stay consistent at that, and also just try to look at how sometimes they never materialize at the end of the day. To help us converse around that and so much more is Serah Munyiri, who is a financial expert as well as a marketing consultant. Quite a number of titles underneath her head. She'll be telling us more about that momentarily. Nonetheless, good morning and welcome to the program, Serah.
Good morning and thank you for having me.
How are you doing today?
Very well.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I should tell you Happy New Year, Happy New Year.
Oh yes, Happy New Year. It's such a great year and I'm so grateful to God to be here. It's a beautiful year, started well and we thank God.
How are you feeling about this new year? Optimistic?
I am very optimistic. I think it will be a great year. You know, it is based on what you manifest in yourself and what you believe and the plans and goals that you have. Yes.
Maybe we can just start from there, Serah. What makes you say a year will be good? And you know, I'm asking this at the backdrop of so many things happening in the country. I mean, just earlier on, we were looking at the dailies, and there's quite a lot that also parents are complaining about. Talk about even school fees rise on it. Talk about collapsing of TVETs and HELB funds into one for those of higher education. Talk about still the high cost of living that you're still reeling with as a country. So when you look at a year and you say it's going to be a good year, what informs that?
You know, the thing is, yes, there's a lot of things that are not going the way we would like them to go. However, for a year to be good, it depends on each one of us and the plans you have. If you plan yourself well, even in the circumstances that will be that you can't avoid, you can still have a good year. So it depends on the goals that you have and what you have been telling yourself and what you want to achieve and the plans that you have to do that.
I hear you. Just hold on that note. I like what you've said, that depending on the goals that you have as a person, and that largely informs why a year would be a good year. This is what you're conversing in around the next 40 minutes or so with my guest, Serah Munyiri, who is a financial expert and also a marketing consultant. She is also the president of Jambo List Limited Company, president of Empowering Peoples of African Descent, that is EPAD. She will equally be telling us so much about this, even as we look at this New Year's resolutions and finances bit of it. Just how do you even start on with planning your goals, writing your goals down, setting your resolutions? Oftentimes we've talked about, in the event of the new year, we always have resolutions, but is it even practical? Is it necessary? And how do you stay consistent and ensuring that you achieve them? This is what you're set to converse throughout this entire time. But then there's something you've mentioned, Serah, there that's I found it quite interesting in terms of how you set your goals. I know also my colleagues had put me on the spot, so I didn't tell them, but they said theirs in terms of goals and New Year's resolutions. And maybe also it's a good point and a good place for me to ask you, what is yours? What's your New Year goal and resolution?
You know, obviously I have several of them, but I'm willing to share one with your viewers, which is I live in the US and I would like to be able to help the community in the US. And primarily I have, within Jambo List, we have a directory, a business directory that is free for every business to post their business there, so that the entire diaspora community can easily access the businesses that are owned by Kenyans and other Africans in the diaspora. And in that regard, we are collaborating. We are hoping to collaborate, or my goal is to be able to collaborate with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Ministry of Trade and Entrepreneurship, and also the Kenyan Embassy in the US for our upcoming business opportunity that we have in May. And we are hoping that that goal will not only be for me as the Jambo List president, but also for all the diaspora people who are interested in starting their own business or really coming back in the country, back in Kenya to build our nation.
I hear you.
Yes.
And I'm hearing a lot of community work, a lot of giving back, so to speak, assisting. Your resolution and goal is the same as Ram. Ram is one of our colleagues here who said,
oh, really? I want to meet Ram.
He's actually around here, very much, saying that he really wants to look into ways of giving back.
Right.
And we'll come into that just in a short while. But before we get to all that, talk to me just a bit about Jambo List and the whole idea behind it, because again, oftentimes you've had quite the conversations about Africans and coming back home, Kenyans living in the diaspora and trying to, you know, make something back home, always being very difficult. Just a little bit about Jambo List.
Yes, it is very difficult. I've lived in the US for over 20 years, and over the years I've faced a lot of challenges that drove me, myself, and my partners with Jambo List to start Jambo List. And one of the challenges was to really easily be able to access African goods and services. And we realized that we have a lot of members of our community who own businesses, but they don't have one place where anyone, either American or even Kenyans, can go and be able to access the contact to those businesses. And so as a community initiative, we started a Jambo List directory, which is free for any business that is owned by Kenyan or Africans in the diaspora to list there, and so that all the other people can be able to access. Now, when we developed the site and we had business now coming in and registering, we have over 1,000, we have thousands and thousands of businesses that are registered, we realized we needed to maintain it. And so we made it a business to advertise those same businesses. Now we have extended our initiative to businesses that are owned by Kenyans here in Kenya, and they are looking into selling to diaspora community. So we are working with banks, we work with real estate companies that are looking into marketing their goods and services in the US. And that's why we have this business opportunity that is coming up in May, and where we are looking to collaborate with several ministries and the U.S. embassy, the Kenyan embassy in the U.S., so that we can bring these services and opportunities to our people who live in abroad. A lot of us now, we are at the age where we want to think about retirement. We are planning, where are we going to retire? Where will my money for retirement come from? And in that cause, we are thinking about investing here in the country or either investing in Kenya. And recently, our President William Samoei Ruto was in the US about 2 weeks ago, and I was fortunate to sit in his meeting, and he was talking about increasing import into the U.S. He talked about the U.S. being one of the leading countries where Kenya exports. And so there's a lot of opportunities that are there, and we are looking for the government to continue to give us the guidance, especially those people who live in diaspora, so that we can invest in those opportunities.
I hear you.
Yes.
And you know, just talking about the president, also he alluded to the same fact, and we know also fully well as a country that human resource is the biggest contributor of our tax income as a country. So which better way than to invest bigger in our human resource?
Exactly.
All right, now let's just come quickly to this New Year resolutions and talk to me also from your perspective. And I hear what you're doing, quite good job, at least in assisting Africans and Kenyans, so to speak, living in diaspora to see also how best they could invest. But then again, back home, is it necessary to actually have New Year resolutions? You have one yourself, which is in tandem with assisting. That's why you're doing, you know, this program. But then, is it even necessary in the first place to have this as an individual?
As an individual, it is important for you to have resolutions. I don't believe that resolutions should only happen the 1st of January. I think resolutions should start...
That's the caveat there.
Yeah.
Okay.
The resolution should happen when you are ready for them. Because, you know, before you even put a resolution together, you should ask yourself, why am I doing it? What am I trying to achieve?
Yes.
And if you have answered your why, then you have to prepare. You have to come up with a plan. What am I doing for how long? Is it sustainable? And also the other thing, you know, even as you plan, you don't want to make a new year resolution that will come and drastically change your life, because it's a long journey. Unless it's something that you're really trying to do just for a day. If you're planning to have a real life change, it is not going to take a day. And so it is a step by step. And the key here is to prepare yourself, plan ahead, write your why, write your objectives, how you're going to achieve it, and that will help you will minimize the chances of failing in it.
So then what I'm hearing, he says that it's not necessary as is to always have it at the beginning of the year as the craze is. It could be any time, any moment. So then in your perspective, why do you think we always find it fit? Because just as you rightfully put it, it could be any time, even in May.
Yes.
In June, even in December, November, you could be having a resolution at that point.
Exactly.
Who said it just has to be in January? So then why do you always find the need to just have it in January? Is it a craze around it just because it's a new year, and how should we change that? Because you realize we don't really quite achieve some of these things that we set to achieve at the end of the day.
Yes, you know, that's a great thought. And you know, the bottom line is, if you're starting it in January, don't just wake up the January 1st and then start thinking about the New Year resolution. Plan. And that's what my hope is, that those people, or hopefully majority of them, who start their New Year resolution on January 1st, they already have a plan, and they are looking at a date when they're going to start.
I'm not just setting goals because people are setting them.
Don't get the influence. I mean, you may hear that, you know, I'm doing it with my friend, I'm doing it so-and-so is doing. You know, you are setting yourself for failure. But if you start thinking about it in October, you start thinking, okay, you know, I really need, you know, next year, or rather in my life, I want to own a business. I want to start saving. I want to lose weight. Start thinking about it in October. And set a date when you're going to start. If that date is January 1st, be it. Because you see, the thing is, January 1st, it's a date when we are coming out from the holidays. So there's a lot of nyamashoma, there's a lot of eating and having fun. So first of all, people may have gained a few pounds. So they are trying to get into the new year to start losing those few pounds, kilos. Also, they have spent a lot of money. So the money is fast gone. So some people are just coming back thinking that, okay, I need to regain the money that I have spent. And many other reasons that people may have to see January 1st as the necessary day to start, including it's the first of the new year. You feel like, okay, the year has ended, it was like this or whatever. Now I want to start a new year afresh with these goals. But I encourage everyone to have a resolution, but if you're going to have it on January 1st, plan ahead, so that, and you more likely will have a success in it.
Yeah, plan on it prior.
Yes.
So for those watching and they feel like everyone already said their New Year goals and New Year resolutions, and they felt like they didn't have none or any, they should not worry and not feel like they're out of place.
They shouldn't.
They shouldn't.
In fact, they should ask their friends, what's your plan?
What's your plan?
Yes.
You have the goal, but what's your plan?
Yes.
Let's get into that, Serah. There's the goal there.
Yes.
There's a resolution there.
Yeah.
Like you as case in point, assisting in community works and all that. But when it comes to planning, which is the best mode or approach to take so that then you actually achieve it? Because like we said earlier, there's so many instances where the goals are set, the resolutions are made, But by the time you clock 31st December 2023 and you actually look at all that you wrote down, you can even barely see any accomplished. And even if one is accomplished, sometimes it's halfway. So what's the best approach when it comes to planning?
You know, don't overplan. Think about what you want to do and your capabilities. We are not all equal. You know, so when you put your plans together, you have to be realistic.
Okay.
And I think that is one of the most important part. You have to be realistic. You have to figure out why I'm doing it, and then be realistic. The success, the best success is the one that comes in small strides.
I like that. The best success is the one that comes in small strides.
Exactly.
You can actually track the success as you move.
Exactly. And then, you know, as you put your objective together, think about when you want to review how you're doing. Don't wait until December to come back and say, oh, I had a goal of owning a business or owning a house, and now we are in December 31st and I have nothing. Review it in March, every quarter. You know, come back in June. Think about what have I done? What marks have I missed? Why have I missed them? And then that way you will keep, you know, that's how you achieve your goal, if you're reviewing them. But if you wait and then just sit down, you realize it's end of the year and you have not done.
You have nothing.
Have not done. And then there's also procrastinating. You know, people say, oh, you know what? I said January 1st, but hey, today
December iko mbali, and today there's you know, I need to help this person, or I need to put my money here, or I need to go out. I am taking a vacation with my friends. So you know what? I'll start again in February 1st. I'll start again in March 1st. You know, if you really put a goal together and you have the plan on how you want to achieve it, you must stay on course. I hear you. There are 2 points you've raised, and I want us to just, and I want you rather to elucidate on them further and perhaps broaden it a bit. This is review what you're doing, and procrastinating. Let's start with reviewing. Yes, you talked about you can do it on a quarterly basis, maybe in March. After March, maybe you can say in June or July, depending. But then, in terms of review, is this dependent on a particular goal, or there's just like a structure that quarterly it's good to be reviewing? Because you keep talking about a year in terms of quarterly, the first quarter, second quarter, and so forth. Which is the best strategy when it comes to reviewing your goals and resolutions?
You know, when you put your goals together and you have the objective, it's good to write it down. Write exactly what you want to do, how you plan to do it. Yes, that's the first step. Once you write it down, now when you're reviewing, you already have a plan. I want to achieve this by December 1st or December 31st. Now, by March, I want to have saved $20,000. So how are you going to save $20,000 by March? Every paycheck, I'll save. A paycheck here, it's a month. So every paycheck, I'll save $6,000. Then my chicken in the village or my other side hustle, I'll add $500 every month. So by March, you expect to have $20,000 or however much. You will realize that when you're reviewing your goals in March, you'll see how you did in January, how you did in February, and also and how you did in March. The importance of reviewing your goals, it's because it also keep it fresh in your mind. If you don't review it, you won't even know where you went amiss. But if you are reviewing it, if it is every 2 months, every 3 months, by the third month you'll know whether you're in the right track or not.
Which actually will help you to either re-strategize or stay in course.
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah.
And this issue of procrastinating, it's quite something that a majority of us, and I should say majority of people, will deal with. And we always think that we have time. There's time. I wrote it down, but we're still in January, we're still in April. By the time December ifike, we'll have achieved it. How do you stay consistent? Because I want to believe that procrastination comes with the issue of non-consistency.
Yes.
How do you do that?
how you stay consistent. Yes. You know, 2 weeks ago, I met up with a gentleman who is about to retire, and his goal was to have an income-generating project here, well, in town somewhere, maybe apartments, and also have a home in his up-country, and have an income-generating business at home. And I've known him for quite a number of years. So when we met, I asked him, so how far have you gone? He has no home here. He rents. He has no income-generating business here. He doesn't have a home, and he's about to retire. I asked him why. He said, I have a lot of things that I have achieved. I have educated my kids. I have, I have 2 wives. I have kids in college. I have kids in primary school. And why haven't you done what you meant you wanted to do by the age of, he's in his 60s? Yeah. And the biggest problem is procrastinating and planning, because if you're earning, you're making an earning. I think it is important for you, to I guess going back to the goals, to achieve, to plan them. Now, if you keep saying, "I'll do it tomorrow," "I'll do it next year," "I'll do it," putting other things more important, prioritizing other things, you're going to Alabe, you want to do this or this, it becomes a problem. So procrastinating, and it's one of the biggest hiccup or items that prevent people from progressing. And you procrastinate if you do not want to follow a plan. But as long as you keep on your plan, and realize that every 2 months you realize the things that you didn't do, you tried, you have to believe in what you want to do. You go back to it. If there's areas that you have lapsed, if there are areas that you have not met, you focus the energy in the right direction.
I hear you. I want us to come to the financial bit of it, and perhaps why sometimes it never materializes, even when it comes to that planning. But before I get to do that, you've said that one of the biggest impediments of achieving those goals is that procrastination. But then you realize sometimes one may even have that plan, it's well cut out, it's even clear, but they still would procrastinate. So that now you will come back and look at your goals and look at your resolution, even look at the plan that you set, but still nothing to show in that regard. Does this boil down to culture in terms of upbringing, discipline? Where does it emanate from? I
think the big portion of it is discipline.
One's discipline?
Yes, okay. Because, the culture is there and we are raised in certain ways. Yeah. But it's good to work on your discipline. It's good to work on the weaknesses that every one of us have. We are all not born equal. And there are challenges that we face that really live with us. Yeah. And I think it is important to get support and help. Get a mentor, get a financial planner. If you really want to achieve, get that expert, that expert person who can really be able to guide you and support you along the way. Because you can't do it all by yourself. Exactly. Sometimes, most of the time, you need help, somebody to help you save, to be able to achieve a goal. But it still comes down to you. How much do you want it? How much do you truly want it? If you really want it that much, you will go out of your way to get it. Yeah.
Get a mentor, get a financial planner. So let's talk about that one now. You have your goal set. Goal resolution, whichever one you want to call it, but it's well set and cut out. Perhaps even the planning is there, you already have it. So in terms of finances, how do you start? Because you realize at the end of the day, these goals, they will require finances.
Yeah.
These resolutions will require whatever you want to do, even if it's losing weight.
To boil
you have to, it will boil down to the financial bit of it. So how do you incorporate this? How do you start? From what point? Is it budgeting, or just say, because this is the main goal, I'll put more money to this one? How do you go about this as a financial expert?
I think the bottom line, all our goals and plans, yes, it boils down to how much we're making.
Yes.
And so, for you to achieve your financial goal, it just start from how much am I making. You have to be realistic. If you're not realistic, you will not.
So first of all, let me get this. Leave even the goal alone first.
Yeah.
Go back to how much am I making as an individual.
Exactly.
So you start from there.
Yeah.
All right. Keep on.
Because I can't have a goal that I'm gonna own a studio or I'm gonna own a company if I'm not even able to feed myself. I think so. You start from there. You figure out how much money do I have? How much money am I making? Yeah. And then how much will this goal that I'm thinking about require? If depending on now the answers to those, now you can come up with a plan. If it is beyond your financial support that you can be able to give, you have to tone down your goal.
You re-strategize.
Yes, and a goal can be. It don't have to be for 1 year. You can have a goal for 5 years, for 10 years, and then plan on it.
That's another thing also.
Yes, the young people who are in college and they should, their goals should really plan, to finish your school, and within the 4 years, what are you planning to do to make sure that you prepare yourself for workforce? Are you looking for internship? Are you looking for a job somewhere that can help you, support you along the way? And what is your plan? And then once you finish college and you get a job, what are your other goals? And that's why I'm saying, if you have a goal for 1 year, it's good, but you should definitely have a goal that is longer than 1 year if you truly want to achieve, because it's very hard for you to achieve something big within 1 year.
Exactly, I hear you.
Yeah.
That also comes a good consolidation. Don't feel pressured. Yeah. We have 2.5 minutes to exit this space, and I wouldn't want us to do that without talking about the bit of saving, because sometimes you can get so much consumed into, I want to fulfill this specific goal, I want to buy this, I want to own this, then you forget for later years. In fact, over time, our president has talked about the culture and the aspects and the matter of savings. How do you bring this into your goals, into your plans, into your budgetary? Very quickly, how do we do this? You should really, in terms of saving, when I went to the US, I was very young. And I planned, I knew that from the word go that I needed to start saving. And since I had a job, I decided that I would plan my money, the money that I was making. And a percentage of it will go to my rent, percentage of it will go to my other expenses and all that. So I think this is dependent on what you're earning, not necessarily what you would want.
No, it is what you are earning.
Well said.
And if you have a small portion of your money to go to your saving, and make sure that you don't touch that. It's your saving. Because generally, what we advise people, you should have saved enough money to live for 6 months without a job. How do you achieve that? And that can be a good goal. You can start with that, to make sure that every month you're saving towards the living expenses for 6 months. And if you have that money in the bank, you are good, because things happen. You may lose your job, you may lose a contract that you had, they may not renew something, and then you'll be homeless. You don't want to be homeless. Plan yourself. And of course here, you know, have a side hustle.
Yeah.
You know, side hustle. Because things happen.
Yeah. Things, someone said you just can't have one stream of income.
No.
You have to be able to diversify.
Exactly.
All right. Thank you so much, Serah. Definitely appreciate your valuable insights.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
Asante. I have been speaking to Serah Munyiri, who is a financial expert and a marketing consultant, of course, talking to us about New Year resolution, touching on the financial bit of it and just why they never materialize, but also just giving us great insights on what you can do, you and I can do to ensure that actually whatever we set, we can be able to achieve it. Good place to end this conversation, but Good Morning Kenya continues after this breather. Stay with us.